Hi folks, Xiong-Rd.10 here. Round 10 of the U.S. Chess Championship 2016. As white, current U.S. champion, my buddy, Carl Nakamura, and as black, an up-and-coming great talent, Jeffrey Xiong. I think Jeffrey's 15, and he's 26-18. He's a hell of a player. He's shown a lot of skill, a lot of guts in this tournament. We're going to get to it. Nakamura is white and Xiong is black. Oddly enough, the kid had the nerve to play the King's Indian against the Carl, so this ought to be interesting. G6. Carl knows a lot about the King's Indian. He played it a million times as black. Knight E5. Knight C3, Bishop G7, and Bishop E2. I like it already. Of course, the King's Indian is always wild, so let's see what we got in store for us. Castles. F4, here come the pawns, just like the King's Indian. Pawns on the King's side. Knight to D7, and then Bishop E3. E6 by Xiong. D takes, F takes. There goes the F pawn. And Knight to H3. A lot of good spots to jump to here. Protecting the pawn here. Queen E7 and castles. Not much of an advantage on the computer, but I like white already. B6, Bishop F3. Rook. And Queen C2. So what to do, what to do. Bishop B7 and Rook A to E1. It's like a Carl's going to start storming the castle here. King H8, getting the king right out of the fray if you can. Knight G5. Bishop H6. Interesting choice there. H6 is the computer's choice. And a close second is Rook to G8. But he tries the bishop. That goes to B5. The bishop takes, pawn takes, knight to E8. Pretty typical King's Indian maneuver. Looking to light to guard some spots, maybe jump to here. Knight takes A7. Now, looks like that knight is trapped. And you'll see, that reminds me, you'll see interviews, with short interviews with Carl Nakamura as well as Jeffrey Xiong. And they're talking about the knight's not trapped. And Carl goes, well, of course it's not trapped. And it really isn't. He can't trap it. Knight to E5. Bishop E2. Rook takes. Rook takes. Rook A8. Now you can try it on your own to figure it out, but moving the pawn up earlier does not trap this knight. I go through the variations with you, but it make the video too long. Knight to B5. And this is where I think young Jeffrey miscues and miscues fairly badly. He takes the pawn. Big mistake. Knight to A3 with a Carl. Now later, there's a series of moves that trap that rook, and Jeffrey admitted freely, I didn't miss the rook getting trapped, I just missed knight to A3, so I give the kid credit for being honest. Queen to G7, Bishop D2, that rook isn't going anywhere. Knight C6, Bishop C3, he has to block with the knight. Bishop D3, and it's coming. And it's coming in a ton. King moves just to get out of that diagonal with a bishop for a better reason. That's a good one. Queen F2. Now threatening to win the knight. He's got to go C5. Finally, bishop to b1, finally going after the rook. Rook goes to a1, but it's no use. Knight to c2. What's he gonna do? He's stuck. Can't move the knight because of the pin. So rook has to take. Rook takes. And this is where I think what they call in poker on tilt, where I think the young man just was so combobulated by losing the exchange like that. He makes another bad move. He should have moved e5. Then after rook to e1, knight c7. Can he survive that? Maybe not, but what he did was worse. The bishop takes. It's a very human move, taking a pawn and pitting the knight. But now the knight takes anyway. And young Jeffrey realizes that it was a colossal mistake. He takes the exchange. But now, here it comes. Exposed attack on the queen with the knight right in there. E takes. He has to give up the queen. Doesn't have a choice. I mean, what choices does he have here? Absolutely none. He's going to get mated. Knight here is mate. Where he has to give up the queen, which is what he does. And after king takes, queen to e3, and that's it. Young Jeffrey throws in the towel. Best he can do is king f8. And then the queen goes here, and the rest of he just starts mopping up everything. So tough break for the young Jeffrey Xiong. Nice win by Carl. That was a nice tactic. With that knight to f5 move. Very nice indeed. Poor Jeffrey just didn't calculate good enough. So that puts Carl within a 1/2 point of the lead. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Round 11 is between Carl Wana in first, Wesley So, and Carl Nakamura. We'll see who comes out on top. We know from other games in the ladies section that we're going to get a new U.S. women's champion. It's been Anna Zakowski and Irina Krush for the last 10 years. We're going to get a new champion one way or another. So stay tuned for that. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Jeffrey having had a wonderful tournament, still having a wonderful tournament, but after defeating a 5-time champion in the Gadakomsky, had trouble today against a 4-time champion, a top 10 player in the world, Hikaru Nakamura. Jeffrey, this game was tough. This game was really complex. Did you feel ill at ease in the opening when you were playing against him?
I think I played a pretty risky opening, and I simply just walked into his preparation. And after he played knight g5, I thought my position was already busted, actually. Because he's threatening to play f5 and knight b5, and meanwhile all of his pieces are participating in the attack, while my pieces are just really passive, and just something definitely went wrong in the opening today.
Why did you decide to play such a risky opening against a player like Nakamura?
To be honest, I'm not sure what I was thinking about that. I had recent success with this move, but okay. Yeah, today he just found a very nice way to play against it.
You talked about learning each round. What lesson do you take from playing today?
Well, I was really impressed by how he finished off the game. Although I should say that I think when he played knight b5, I'm not sure this was even necessary, because if we could bring up the board,
You traded on g5, which I thought was a curious decision right now. When you did that trade, you must have thought it was imperative. Why didn't you play the move c6 and trap his knight? Was there a problem there for you? After that is after bishop takes.
Yeah, then maybe after knight d4, I take on g5. Is that the idea?
No, take on g5. No, I'm talking about when he actually took your pawn. So bishop takes, pawn takes knight. Why didn't you, instead of this move, play c6? That left just seemed very unclear what was going to happen next.
Yeah, he has to play e5, I think. Or at least I thought that was his idea.
And if knight takes?
Then bishop d4.
But I mean, here at least you've gotten the pawn back, and the pawn on g5 is hanging.
Right, but no, there's still some things to be worked out, I think. I mean, c6 is hanging, and my king is very weak.
I see. Okay, I might not...
First of all, I thought that what he did wasn't even necessary, because I think if he plays h4, that's the end already. Because, I mean, I have all the same problems.
You mean instead of taking on...
No, instead of knight b5. If he just plays...
No.
Instead of playing knight b5, just h4, and I didn't really understand what I could do. At least,
I mean... It looked like a lot of space for him, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at least after knight b5, bishop takes g5, I thought I have a square. I mean, probably I'm still clearly worse, but I had a square.
Now, as the game continued, you took on a2, which looked highly dangerous. Did you realize he had this move, bishop to d2, or did you miss it?
No, actually, you're giving me too much credit. I didn't even see knight a3, just trapping the rook. Otherwise, I would not be going for it.
Oh, okay, so the tension of the moment, you missed this
Yeah,
move.
Well, first of all, I thought if I don't regain the pawn, probably it's just technical win already.
It's a pawn down, yeah. All right, so you saw this idea, you just missed this retreating move, knight to a3. Well, unfortunate that this happened to you in this round. You still have another round to go. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, next round I'm playing a guy who usually goes after the enemy king regardless of whether he gets to move first or not. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting
Were you
game.
playing Shabalov?
Yes.
Yeah, I could have guessed that one just from the description. So it should be an interesting battle. Well, you have definitely impressed us with your play so far and your demeanor, and we look forward to seeing you finish out this tournament. Time champion Hikaru Nakamura, one of the top 10 players in the world, playing a truly vicious game today. Hikaru, you look like you came for blood. We heard that you played 5 hours of bullet last night. Is that true?
Not 5 hours, maybe 2 hours or something. I mean, pretty much for the last few days I've been doing it because, I don't know, I just tried one night and then I won the next day and then I did it again, I won the next day. So it seems to be working for whatever
Unorthodox
reason.
preparation for a chess tournament.
Yeah, I mean, okay, normally I don't do it, but I just did it and then I won the game against, I think it was Xiong-Rd, and I kept doing it, so yeah, that's why I was playing bullet.
Yeah, we don't advise that of you guys. This guy just happens to be the best bullet player on the planet, but okay. Today's game, were you surprised by his choice of opening? Extremely risky.
Not really. First of all, I'm a bit fortunate because my second is from Dallas, where Jeffrey is from, and they've actually played a few times. So because of that, I had some extra insight in terms of what Jeffrey's repertoire is. Knight c6 is not the main line, but it's still a line that's been played quite a bit, and I don't think it's that risky. I think it's just a little bit unpleasant, but that's, I mean, how chess is really at this point in time. But then, kind of, the issue with the position that Jeffrey had was that it was just always worse, and there wasn't really counterplay. So it's kind of like, I'm just developing my pieces, and then when I go knight g5, he kind of has to make a tough decision whether to go h6 or to go bishop h6. And before the game, I'd looked at something pretty similar, and I'd only looked at this move h6. But bishop h6 was certainly an interesting try, because it's a little bit hard for me. I wasn't really sure what I'm doing, whether I should play knight b5 like I did, or whether I should play something, I don't know, like b3 or a3 or bishop c1, something more positional. It was very hard to decide, but in the end, I didn't see anything that was bad, so I just went for it with knight b5, and then, I mean, the position kind of just kept deteriorating for Jeffrey.
There was a moment after knight b5 I'd like for you to look at right here after the trade. The move c6 right now. What was your plan in this position? The engines say that you're up a pawn and your knight's not getting trapped.
Of course it's not getting trapped.
So, but it's still sitting there. So what was your plan just at this moment? He was afraid of e5, but I'm not sure that's the move.
Well, I saw both ideas. e5, I mean, e5 was my original idea, but I think after e5, knight takes e5, bishop d4, there is knight g7, and it's very, very unclear. I'm not really sure what's going on. But I also thought just queen a4 was completely fine as well. Like queen a4, and then, I don't know, I mean, rook a8, I think, and it's just knight c6, and it's probably just a significantly worse endgame. At 95, I think I have bishop d4, or 95 I have bishop b6 or bishop d4, and I mean, I thought I was fine. I didn't think there was danger, at least, because I didn't see my knight getting trapped on a7, so probably I would have gone for this. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, very concrete play there. You have won the game. You're currently tied for first, for the moment at least. Fabiano, what is your opinion of the position he's in? He's definitely worse, but is he losing?
Well, what's the current position?
He's oh, look at this! It's transferred down to an ending.
No, but this is going to be a draw.
Looks dead drawn suddenly, so he looks like he is.
No, I don't understand. What did Gata do? After knight d7, what was Gata's move?
So the bishop,
yeah, like
is right here. He must have taken it. No, oh, he took on.
No, he took on c3, which I thought was correct. Takes, and he played g4 and. Wait, what? What is bishop takes d7? I mean, isn't bishop e6 just very strong for black? Bishop e6, rook d6.
Maybe he doesn't want to see knight f6 and g5 happen somehow?
No, but I mean, rook takes a3, this should just be very good for black.
Let's continue the line. Knight f6.
Knight f6, king f8, that's the point. And now, I mean, black must be winning. Just rook a1, a3, a2. I don't see. g5, king e7. Or actually, wait, I don't have to go king e7. It's not checkmate. So instead of king e7, I just play a move like, I don't know, rook c3, a3. It just looks winning. Rook a7, a2, and I mean, game over.
Wait. That line. Oh, because you're going back to d8.
Yeah, I mean, bishop d7 is just a bad move. I mean, or not a bad move, but I mean, there's no practical winning chances. So, yeah, rook d. Yeah, just rook a3. I don't get it. Because if knight c5, now you go like bishop c4, and that looks
like you're keeping those pawns.
I mean, I think black should just be winning here. Technically, I mean, I don't. I'm not saying it's easy, but I have a feeling that technically speaking, this should just be winning.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it looks like he let him off the hook. So a draw looks like it's in the offing. The current position we have on the board
Yeah, it's
looks
very strange by God.
Looks like a draw, and he played with time on his clock. Certainly wasn't in the time pressure that Fabio was in.
Very strange.
But you agree that the position on the board now is
it's just a dead draw,
right?
100% dead draw.
So then you're still half a point behind. So we can't speak of having a tie for first just yet. But you certainly controlled what you could control so far in the tournament. What are your thoughts going into the last game?
I mean, it's hard to judge this tournament. I mean, I really it comes down to 2 games in the middle of the tournament. I think as far as what's gone wrong for me. I mean, basically, I'm assuming that Fabiano will take care of business like he should tomorrow and win. So you know, mentally, you know, I'm not really thinking about winning the tournament. I assume I'm not going to. But still, I'm pretty happy with the way that I've come back after losing to Fabiano. I mean, unfortunately for me, this feels a little bit like the candidates where I was way behind and kind of out of it, and then I sort of started playing well towards the end and wasn't in contention to win, but I you know, at least I was close enough in the standings, I would say. Whereas here it's kind of the same way. I don't feel like I've ever really been in the running to win the tournament. I mean, if I'd won yesterday, that's a whole different story. But still, I mean, I've played well since the mishaps, I guess.
You bring up a really interesting point, and I'd like for you to make a comment on this. I've said the same thing in the candidates. I said, you know, you put so much into that tournament. That was a really big tournament for you, and you made a point about it, that this is a really big tournament you wanted to win. When you were out of it, all of a sudden, it looked like the great Nakamura we know. Free chess, playing great. But when you were not, you seemed a little bit more reserved. Is that a fair assessment, or you feel that you know, I'm overstating the case? Because it looked like when you're relaxed, you just seem like you play completely amazing chess, and you play and you fight. But when you're tense, we can actually see it in your body.
First of all, I think that's true for everyone who's playing the candidates. I mean, to use an even better example, look at Magnus when he played in London in 2014. I mean, I think everyone would agree that Magnus probably has the best nerves and definitely under pressure, he performs the best by far. And yet, when there was real pressure in the last round against Peter Svidler, he lost the game. So the Candidates tournament is a whole different animal. As far as being tense or not being tense, I don't think it was being tense. I think obviously I was a little bit nervous, but in general I wasn't getting any breaks in terms of preparation or the way the openings were going, whereas in the later rounds I started to get some breaks, and I think because of that, it's obviously much easier to play when that happens. So, you know, it wasn't my tournament. I think you know, maybe that affected me somewhat at the start here, because I don't feel like I'm at 100%. I still feel a little bit in a different world ever since the Candidates, because it was a long tournament, a lot of energy. But the show goes on, and you have to keep trying to do your best.
Last question, just pertaining to that, your thoughts about becoming world champion potentially. It's 2 years away now, at least the cycle is going to restart again. Your sights are still set on that goal?
That's really the only goal I can have at this point. I mean, what am I supposed to say? I just want to keep playing chess and make money. I mean, that's not the reason I play chess. So, I've obviously won the U.S. Championship a few times. I was #2 in the world last year. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only thing that I haven't really achieved at this point. But it's 2 years away. There are a lot of tournaments I'll have to play well, because I'm assuming I won't qualify by rating. But you know, you only have so many chances, and I'm just enjoying the ride, because I'm sure one day I'll probably be a little bit older like Alex and God, and not playing quite at my absolute strength anymore. So I just have to try and do the best in the present moment.
I saw a tweet of yours that said, "Good food and good company is what life is all about." We'll let you go enjoy that right now.
Yeah, I'm actually, you know, I'm quite happy about that, because one of my friends who's in town, he's catching a taxi to leave at 4:50, so I was trying to play quickly and finish the game so that I'd have a little time out.